Well, I don't want to take up too much of your time, so I guess we'll just go ahead and jump right on in. If you could just kind of start out a little bit about telling me about how long you've been in real estate and where you're located.
I've been in real estate going on, I'll be 6 years this June. Um, I'm here in Colorado Springs, Colorado. And I used to work for UPS, and then I had my first son, and I didn't get to see him. So it's time to make a business change, a change of lifestyle. So I
Yeah.
went into real estate, and yeah, I've been doing it here in Colorado Springs the whole time.
Tell me, what's the market like in Colorado Springs? Is it
The one thing that helps our economy here in Colorado Springs is we have 5 military bases. So our economy is very stable. Even in the down times, we still move a lot of volume. So that's good. It's very good because we always have soldiers coming in and leaving and stuff. So that helps our economy a lot. On top of that, we have a lot of people moving in from Texas, California, Arizona. So our economy is very, very good, to be honest with you.
and so how's like the competition for real estate? Is there a lot of other
Oh
agents
yeah,
about?
yeah. There's a lot of competition. I think we have right around 7,000, 7,500 agents. Our population here in Colorado Springs, just in the main part of Colorado Springs, is about 750. So you can kind of imagine it. It's everybody and knows a realtor or their neighbor is a realtor. So yeah, there's a lot of competition.
Yeah. So I guess so when you were kind of breaking into that, and how did you find us? How did that kind of come about?
It's kind of funny how I found you guys because I found it on a Facebook ad. And one of my close friends is an agent, and I seen her name pop up on it. You know, she likes this page and she accepts it. And so I did some research on it. I clicked on it, did some research, looked into the program. I did a free webinar with you guys. And I was like, man, this thing is pretty hot. This is a hot thing going on here. So I went ahead and I signed up for the program. And after I signed up for the program, I guess it was about a week after that, I saw my friend and I was talking to her about it. And I was like, hey, man, you signed up for that? She's like, no, what are you talking about? I'm like, nothing. Yeah, nothing. Don't worry about it. Eventually, later on down the road, I told her about it after I got some business out of it. So, yeah. And then I shared it with her and I shared it with a couple other real estate agents, but none of them have taken up on it, which
Yeah.
I'm kind of happy about.
Right, right. Yeah. And that's the nice thing, now everything is so customizable that really, even if two people next to each other handed out the book, they're looking so different now. And like we've been able to add editable content and everything, so you can really make it yours now.
Right, right. And that's what I love about the program is you can just like you say you can edit it. And the new things about it is you can put the ratings on there that you weren't able to do that before. I also like the pre-listing package and the pre-listing presentation. You guys' pre-listing presentation is far above and beyond any other pre-listing presentation I've ever done because it actually shows value to the client that you're actually on their side. A lot of agents will come in there and say, hey, I'm on your side, and then they'll try and differentiate a price from what the sellers have. But this pre-listing presentation, it kind of shows how to bring the house up to value to get what they want. And that's huge. That's huge.
Yeah, we were talking about a couple of days ago. You said, you don't have the questions about commissions anymore. Tell me about that, like just kind of what that does for you.
Yeah, that is, it's kind of a shocker to me because any listing I've ever went on, of course, you get the listing objection, and then you have to go through the commission objection. You have to go through the commission objection handler. With this one, they see the value in the book. They read the information, they kind of skim over it, and just the book, just them actually reading a book helps them overcome that objection of, okay, well, you lower your commission. Because I guess it's subconsciously in their mind, they're thinking, hey, if this guy has a book, he's worth the full commission. You know what I mean? I mean, that's the only thing different that I'm doing than any other real estate agent, other than your list, like I say, your listing presentation, which shows the client how to bring the house up to value to get what they want. And it's a win-win-win situation.
Awesome. No, that's great to hear. What, how do you, yeah, how do you use your book? What's your process with your book? What's the, the sending it out, or what do you do with that?
I do cold calling. So what I'll do is, I'll just ask them if they're still interested in selling their house. If they say yes, I say, how soon are you interviewing agents? If they tell me, oh, we've already had a couple interviews already, and I tell them, great. Not only am I a realtor, but I'm an author, and I write books. Would you be okay if I gave you a book to skim through before you interviewed your next agent? And usually I haven't gotten a no out of that. Sure, yeah. Okay, since you're already interviewing agents, would you mind if I dropped it off at your house? I can drop it off today. And I'll do that. Now, if they tell me they're going to interview agents like next week or in the future, that lets me know I have time to mail it to them. And then they'll receive it in the mail. It all comes down to listening. You got to listen to what they want. So when they tell me, yeah, we're interviewing agents, okay, I'm going to drop the book off to you tonight. And then I try and reschedule 2 days out. That's going to give them time to look at the book, review it. It's not tomorrow. I'm not going to call them tomorrow because I want them time to spend with the book and get the information. So I'll schedule another call for 2 days out. And then when I call them back, they're usually like, yeah, just come on over and talk to us. Come tell us what you think. And it's great. And then by the time I get there, of course, I have my comps and stuff like that. And I just compare the price that they have in mind with the comps that are sold on the market. And I just show them, I say, hey, this is what you're looking for, which is more than any house that is sold. So the condition of your home needs to be improved. And then I just kind of talk to them from there. Do you have the money or do you have the resources to do the improvements to get you to where you want to be on your price range? And usually they do. And if they do, I say, great, let me get my handyman in here. We can get you, he can get you, come in here, take a look, tell you what everything's going to cost. And then what we can do is we can get a time frame from him when he'll be done with all the work. And then we can sign that day, we can sign the listing contract for however long out, so that helps me get the signature that day, even for the future, which is awesome.
Right. Yeah. You have, can you tell me, kind of walk me through maybe one of the, kind of one of the listings that you got from the book, kind of how everything kind of went down and how it worked out?
Yeah, actually, I called. It was a expired $960,000 home listing. I called her up and I contacted her, and she said she was going to be interviewing agents again. This is her third time that house is on the market with 3 different realtors. So it was a month later before I actually got to go on the listing presentation, but I did mail her the book. So when I showed up to the listing presentation, she had the book on the table. So that tells me she read the book. She told me at the time that she wasn't interested in selling that house because she had a townhouse that they were upgrading and doing some improvements to, and they wanted to sell that. So when they got done with that, she called me up. And that had been through 2 realtors too. We ended up putting that townhouse on the market for $193,000, and it sold in 17 days, highest in the subdivision that it had ever sold. That helped because of the improvements, because of the book. And then, what was it about? I guess it's about 5 months later. After we closed that one, she called me up and she said, come up and tell me what you think of our house. So I went back up there and looking at her house. It's not a stick-built home. It's all concrete and steel. She built the home herself because she owned a construction company back in the day. It's all geothermal and radiant floor heating. Um, so it's super efficient. It's a 5,668 square foot house. It has a 30-foot cathedral ceiling in it. And the utilities on this house are only like 350 bucks a month with all the lights on, all the computers running and everything. So the house is super efficient. And so we got to talking, and once I did some research, being in the area that it is, there hasn't been any houses sold within the last 4.5 years. So we couldn't really use comps for that. The closest ones, we had to go a couple subdivisions different. One in the Broadmoor. I don't know if you're familiar with Colorado Springs.
Not too much.
There's one in the Broadmoor just south of her location, and there's one in Garden of the Gods just north of her location. And those houses were pretty close in comparison to square foot, beds and baths and everything. And they were coming in at just about $1 million. But looking at the construction and the way the house was built and everything, it was determined best to put it on the market at 1.2 million. So we ended up getting a $193,000 townhouse sold and a $1.2 million house.
Not a bad.
Yeah.
It's not a bad return on a book.
No, that was one single book. That was the business card book. Yeah.
So what books do you currently use?
I use the business card book. I'm out of that one right now. I can't show you that one. But this one here, The Secret Wealth. That one. I just got this one for the buyers. Don't get ripped off. I got rid of all my 27 steps for the first time buyer. So I had to reorder that one. And I actually like this one better because it goes over a little bit about contracts. So it's a little bit more clear on the steps and processes. And then this one here, Selling the Unsellable Home. This is for the expireds. So those are the three that I have and I use a lot right now. And I know you asked me before how I've done it. I actually went back and I looked through over because I've been with you guys for, I want to say it's just been about a year. And over a year, I've done 2, 3, 4, 5. This will be my 6th house that I sold off of these books. So, and the average commission on these books is made me about $7,500.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's great to hear. I mean, it's one of those things like.
I love the program. I absolutely love it. And, you know, I'm the type of person where I like to share a lot of secrets and stuff like that. But this one, I don't want to share it. I just don't want it to get out in the public. I know it's rude and it's kind of greedy of me, but it sets me apart from the other realtors. Even like seasoned realtors, I'm beating them out just because of that single book. And it's a very powerful tool, very powerful tool. So it's helped my business a lot, and I believe in it, 100%.
That's great. We really appreciate, especially people like you taking the time to talk to us about that, because it helps. It helps our back end people to hear about these. The work that they're doing is really kind of helping you guys out.
And another thing about the book I like is when I do my follow-up call, it makes the follow-up call a completely comfortable, warm call. I'm calling as a friend now. I'm not calling as another shark in the water, trying to hard sell. They have the book, they see my picture on it. Once they see who they're actually going to get to work with and they have the information in the book, it totally solidifies you as me as a realtor. And I'm telling you, it's so much easier to work with people that want to work with you rather than going out there and trying to hard sell somebody.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. What so another thing that I like to ask people is when they did set up with us is what were some of the hesitations?
For me, it was new territory. I didn't have any idea about the whole program. I did not know what you guys offered. because you don't go over everything in the webinar.
Mhm.
So the information that I got once I signed up with the program totally made me comfortable about signing up with Authorify. I mean, I was completely comfortable. I didn't have a listing presentation. I do now. My cold calling scripts and stuff needed a lot of improvement, and you guys' scripts helped out a lot. The warm call scripts make a huge difference. Like I said, you're calling now as a friend. It's a warm call. It's much easier to have a conversation with somebody that has seen you and that can justify what you do in your business. So the that was pretty much it. It was just that it was a new territory, and I didn't know if I was wasting my money on some shiny object or if it was a good investment. And it's been the best investment I've ever done in real estate.